Oops. What's up, guys? It's Luke at Meticulous back with another video. This one's going to be a little controversial, maybe. It's kind of a small thing in SWOTOR. It's freaking SWOTOR. But, Merc healers not taking raid buff. Now, I totally get it with the DPS because you're wanting to use your supercharge on, like, the supercharge burn and IO or whatever it's called for Arsenal, and it's a big increase. And just raid buffing isn't great. But not a ton of people are playing Merc DPS anyways, and I would argue what you can benefit the group with, giving them all the 10% alacrity on some kind of burst phase, is probably more valuable than the DPS increase you get from that one window of supercharge. That I haven't numerically tested. But my point that I'm going to be going over is the burst healing on Merc. Folks say Merc burst healing, you get so much out of that second stack. So looking at the talent, it reduces the cooldown by 15 seconds. Okay, so it's what, gonna with alacrity and stuff. What does that come out to with like that? 42 seconds versus 55. If you need to do that much burst that often and your other healer doesn't have a cooldown, I think, or if you can't, the tank isn't popping DCDs, I think we have another problem. But just to illustrate this point, let's see, we can do 4 healing scans in a row, let's say under supercharge, and it's every 1.9 seconds. Okay, so over the course of that time, we are getting 4 of those like 40 to 70k or whatever it is heals in. So that's 160 to 280. Let's say everything crits under that. Okay, so what does Power Surge allow us to do? What it allows you to do is get 2 hitting at the same time, a hard cast and then an instant. So 1 into that, 2, maybe you instant with that. Okay, so you've done now 3 big heals over the course of those 4 almost GCDs or a little bit less. Okay, so what that means is we did, let's say, 200k health, plus what the other healer is doing over the course of 3 casts. And now you're saying we need to duplicate that a second time to keep the tank up. I just don't think realistically there's a situation where that is going to happen. And if we're talking about group healing, I don't know why you're healing scanning individual people again and again, because you have Culto Missile every 4 GCDs. You've got your progressive scan every 7 GCDs or whatever it is. And then in between that, you have better heals to use that are faster. Emergency scan, rapid scan. You might even need to vent some heat hitting Culto shot. And it's not going to be such an extended period of time where like you need that. Anyways, the other thing that people do sometimes is they will not precast something else. And like let's say we go into this and we do the double power surge. So 1, 2. That's literally the exact same thing as hard casting 2 of them, except the first heal comes at the end of the 2 seconds, and then of course because it's instant, it's on the 1.4 second GCD. Maybe you're running 1.3 in your healer gear. It's a little faster. So that's over the course of, what is that? Probably should have prepared this a little more, but you get the point. It's 3.8 seconds versus 2.8, 1 second. There's just not a situation in SWOTOR in 2025 where that matters. Now, what you could potentially do is, the 1 into the instant, and then you're going to get another instant, so again, you're waiting. I'm sorry, I just don't think it's that valuable. The Merc raid buff is way more valuable. Like, it just does not increase your HPS to a level where it's going to make a difference if like someone's taking a bunch of burst damage and you have to keep them up, compared to the benefit you get from having the Merc raid buff, taking everyone's offensive cooldowns, putting them on a lower cooldown. Like obviously that's a big thing in some fights, like 16-man Skyvo we got, or even an 8-man. You want your fuel and your PTs to come back up earlier, so maybe you don't get the second ignite core, or you have it for both ignite cores if it's the 16-man version where you're gonna see both of them. So, mess me up in the comments, but seriously, I would really encourage Merc healers to not take that second Power Surge stack because it's, giving you a little bit of benefit. And you could go the other way and say that the Merc raid buff isn't super beneficial and it's kind of niche. But, man, we're just not in a place where you got to push out so much HPS on like almost any phase on your own where it's going to matter. But yeah, I hope that may be something helpful. maybe not. But, thanks for checking it out. Hope you guys have a good day. Take care.